Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna kick off. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the first ever GT Capital Twitter Spaces. The general idea around these spaces is that we want to run an ongoing series of forums where we discuss kind of the latest news on Terra, and also bring new Terra-based projects into the spotlight so they can bring their products and ideas to the community, and also take feedback and questions directly from you guys. Um, Today, we'll be doing a quick intro to some of our members, how we all found and fell in love with Terra. Also, be giving some of the backstory in terms of the formation of GT Cap, and also revealing some of the ideas in terms of how we want to build this out into a larger community project. We'll then be inviting a new play to earn project on Terra, Deviants factions, to take the stage. And after completing some of the basics with them, we'll be inviting you guys to come and ask you questions about their project. If people want to hang around afterwards and we've got some time, we might have time to cover some of the many developments we've seen on Terra this week, IBC, Wormhole, etc. But to kick off, GT guys, can you introduce yourselves and your journey to becoming a lunatic? Hisoka, you're off mute,
Yeah,
so maybe you go first.
yeah, sure. So, hey everyone, Hisoka here. Probably see me around the Telegrams and the Twitter. Yeah, I guess my origin story for Luna is probably similar to a lot of folks, but it got started 2017, like wrote everything all the way down. And when things started heating back up again in 2020, last year, like one of the things I tried to do is just make small bets across several different blockchains. So Luna was one of them, and there were several more. And the one that kind of kept getting my attention, like especially the December through January through February, was Luna because the price action was so incredible compared to everything else. And then I think that initial kind of jolt of adrenaline, it lets you dig into the ecosystem. And the the very first thing I found was the Telegram groups and the Terra main channel. And then kept talking about price in the main chat, and they directed me to the Lunatics channel. And after that, it was just kind of history from there. Community is awesome. Uh, Dove in to Luna, like started creating content about Luna, and started meeting a lot of fine folks here, and that's kind of how I got started. Who wants to
Thanks,
jump in
Hisoka.
next?
Jimmy?
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in and then pass the baton to someone else. But for myself, I think similar to a lot of us, we have regrets of the trades that we've missed, or the Bitcoin that we've sold too early, or the Doge that we we never held on to. So I think the beginning, or maybe the middle of last year, I just started to DCA into a few coins on Coinbase, not really thinking about it too much. But once I got a little bit of time, I started moving some tokens off wallets, playing around with the Ethereum ecosystem at first. Um, but gas prices and the amount of money that I was playing with was just, the gas prices were just absurd. 10, 20% of your entire trade goes to gas, which was absurd at the time. I think it was a few YouTube videos. I think it was like the Defiance YouTube channel where they started to go into Anchor, and at that time I think it was like 200 or 300% APR on a borrow. So I just started dabbling that in a little bit. And when the May crash happened, I thought it was a perfect time to get a little bit exposure or more exposure to Luna. Um, and really dip my toes into trying to understand and potentially make this a full-time gig. I discovered Flipside Crypto, was doing some bounties for them. GJ over there, shout out to him, he was super supportive. And winning some bounties, and then all of a sudden your bounties just 2-3x in value, kind of makes you stick around and want to play around with the ecosystem some more. I think after that, just trying to really sift through all of the noise in the telegrams, right? So I think the alpha happens in the telegram groups first. Maybe it'll trickle over to Discord, and then to Twitter, And then if it's in a YouTube video, you're a little bit too late already. I think that it's good for overview, but you try to really, just needing to sift through the noise. Found my way into little private Telegram groups and reached out to Hisoka, and we got into a little Telegram group, and that's how I really got engaged with you guys and really dove quite deep into the ecosystem. But yeah, that's me, and then I guess I'll pass it on to Joe.
Thanks. Well, for me, I think I'm the most inexperienced one here. I first began only in February this year. I first started off with Dogecoin. I'm not very proud of that one, but eventually settled down into Luna as one of my first few. Ever since then, it's been quite a journey, I would say. I first entered at $4, so at the very beginning, it was more of me just holding the coin and not understanding what it was. But when I started reading up on it, it became something where just ever since then, every day it's been me tweeting nonstop about Terra, and so far I've connected with a few communities. Now we have Singaporean groups and Chinese groups, both with about 300 to 400 members inside. And right now, if you guys know the NFT scene as well, it's like I'm just creating the community for everyone to come together. On top of that, I think I have to shout out for some sources out there. For example, Babylonians, Fish Market, the Cat, for setting up very informative videos for me to learn about Terra more, and I'm just here to stay for the long run, and I hope I can learn more from you guys over time. I don't have much to say because I think I tweet a lot of stuff anyway. You guys know my opinions on Terra and stuff. So I pass the mic over to Sean Terra, if he's there.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm Sean, as most know. I started back in December last year, maybe a bit earlier. I wasn't really doing it for any reason. I used to play games, funny enough, and they took payments in crypto for a discount. So I started with Bitcoin. Basically, I'd buy the Bitcoin and then I started making money on it when I was not meaning to. So I kind of started looking at other stuff, Ethereum. I had a little bit of a play around with it, but as most know, the gas fees just wasn't worth it at all. And then a friend of mine that I was working with told me about Luna, so I started diving deep into that, and basically haven't looked back. It's yeah. So mine's pretty simple. So yeah, it's been definitely a long rabbit hole, I'd say. So yeah.
And now you're admin on 50% of the telegrams on Terra.
Yeah, basically. So Yeesh started me with Anchor, and it kind of just hasn't stopped from there. So I like to dive into all the white papers and try and get all the information, and yeah, then stay up to date with all the changes that gets made, as we know, with government proposals and whatnot. So yeah, that's basically my story.
Cheers, Sean. Terranaut, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose I discovered crypto probably in late 2020. So I wasn't around for 2017 like many of the guys here. And Luna actually turned out to be my third investment after Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I think I got a little bit lucky, I'd say, in that regard. And I guess, like many people, I kind of invested across a few different things in the back end of last year. And as soon as I kind of dug into Luna, and specifically kind of UST, and kind of understanding how that worked and what kind of DOE and company were trying to build out, I saw it as it felt like a bit of a unique opportunity in terms of upside within crypto. And obviously, so far, that has played out quite nicely, and at least financially. And I suppose it's a bit strange, really, because all of the early goings on with lunatics, in terms of on Twitter and Telegram, I didn't quite feel present for, and it wasn't really until February March time that I got into that scene, and I'd say I was fortunate enough to get into a few Telegram groups with a few of the OG lunatics who very kindly kind of took me in, and from there I kind of became very cult-like on Terra as a whole. And I'd say kind of lunatics and things like that became my home through the May crash, where I also doubled down on my investment, and that's thankfully paid off. But I guess kind of moving forward from there, I kind of realized quite quickly that I also wanted to start building out a bit more of a community presence and kind of getting involved in the community myself, and trying to just put a few ideas out there and just kind of contribute a little bit to this space. And I think that's now probably the journey that I'm on, kind of very early in that, but I'm hoping that kind of the next few months will kind of bear that out a little bit more. In the interest of time, I'll wrap up there, and I think Nick is probably the final person we've got here today who's going to introduce themselves, so I'll pass over now.
Thank you, terranaut. Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I joined Terra in early 2020 as I was really impressed how good Chai did in South Korea. Shortly after joining Terra, a few of us like Nicholas Flamo, Nacho Dawn, Alpha Sickle, and myself kind of started and co-founded Lunatics with just 6 of us. So in the early days, I dedicated a lot of my time educating new users about Terra on Telegram, and I'm so glad to see that Lunatics have now become the biggest community group in the whole crypto space. And no doubt, a few of us at GT have contributed a lot in helping to grow the community, such as Ryan with his UK Lunatics group and Joe with her NFT and Singaporean Lunatics group. So yeah, basically that's all from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. And yeah, just to wrap up, so I'm Ryan, based in UK, London. I first got into crypto back in 2014, but it was a very quick dip my toe in and got back out again, which I will forever regret. Came back into the space kind of around December, January time, stumbled across Luna for purely price action reasons, as I was trading a bunch of stuff on crypto exchanges, just as many of you will have been. As I started to dig into fundamentals, Luna just really caught my attention, and I often say once you find Luna and understand it, everything else looks like a bit of a shitcoin. When May crash happened, I hit a load of stop losses on stuff I was holding and just went all in on Luna and Terra and the Terra ecosystem. And I like to think of myself as just a guy who tweets about Luna a lot, and people seem to like it, so that's cool. So that's me in a nutshell. So I mean, we're here today to talk a little bit about GT Capital. I mean, it's kind of been a really self-evolving thing. We don't really have a leader as such, but certainly Hisoka was probably the one who helped put this together more than anyone else and sort of brought people together. So Hisoka, I don't know if you want to just give the audience like a feel in terms of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess it's kind of surreal that we're all here doing this. It's like before this was a thing, before GT had a name. I think it was like a way to bring people in the community who are vibing, just bring them together. Like we didn't really have plans for this or like a community VC or whatever it turns out to be. But I think the original way we kind of started getting together is you guys might have seen my MI in the chats, and he's someone I would speak with often in various telegrams, especially the Pylon price chat. Like this was back back in May, like right when Pylon IDO'd, and you know where we were with Luna. But we started a small group. It was like myself, Cypher was there, Korjeet was there, Mai was there, and I think we invited a few more people. So started with Ryan and Jimmy, Vincer, Satria, Pig, and I think what I was doing is like just keeping an eye out for people who were active on Twitter, active on Telegrams, who I thought could be a good fit. So, you know, we kept expanding. So I found Nick, I found Sean, Martin, CJ. These were all pretty active community members. And as time went on, we found Joe, Kazi, Mike, terranaut, Ernestus. I mean, I think GT is up to like 20, 24, 25 people at this point. But I think when things really started to kind of gain traction is when Nick, who just introduced himself, like he's like the Spider-Man avatar person in Telegram on Twitter, and like you said, he's been really early on the scene, right? It's like he was one of the people that actually helped like originate this whole lunatics idea, gave it a name, like helped birth it into the world. And like the one thing that he said that really stuck with me is that the vibe and like culture of the GT group, it like kind of reminded him of the vibe and the culture of that those like times back when things were just forming. So, you know, going from there to like just having people come together, passionate about the same thing, like everyone's trying to make it. I think we just got to the point where we realized that there's people here who can add a lot of value to projects, to people, in terms of like video content, like threads on Twitter, community managers, big brains, and like a wide range of interests, you know, like NFTs, farming, degenning, and the rest was like, okay, what do we do about this? Let's come up with a plan. Let's give it a name. Let's put it out there. Community VC sounds like a goal, and you know we're still actively evolving. So whatever we are now, it's definitely not the finished product. I just never thought we'd really be getting this far, but I think when you do have a name and a voice, it does come with a lot of responsibility. So like we definitely started as a community. Everyone here is also community. So I think our next phase is just thinking about like how we can provide the most value, like how can we make things as inclusive as possible. And I think we're going to get into some of that here coming up. Brian?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, that's a really accurate description of how things have evolved. And it's almost like a full-time job just trying to read the Telegram of 25 people. It's just absolutely insane in there. I think next thing is we're going to throw over to terranaut. So we wanted to give you guys an idea in terms of what we're thinking in terms of building this thing out, because I think, you know, from a community perspective, we don't want to come across as like an inclusive thing that's just for the benefit of ourselves. We really want to do something bigger than that. And we've been kind of throwing ideas back and forth about how we can do that. And I think terranaut wanted to maybe just articulate some of those ideas. And we'll maybe just, if we've got time before Deviants come in, just take a couple of suggestions and comments if anyone wants to come in and speak afterwards. So terranaut, over to you, man.
Yeah, sure thing. So I suppose, like, to go back again very quickly, I think one of the core things that stands out about Terra is its community. And I think most of us would agree on that. And I think it's not only kind of the strength and passion that it has, but something I very quickly realized was also the level of kind of talent embedded in it. And I think that's something I've noticed on my journey within Terra from meeting other individuals within the ecosystem that have, to be honest, inspired me in kind of wanting to pursue this. And I think one of the things we have is we still have that talent quite largely untapped, or at least if it's tapped into, it's not really been directed in any way, and it's not really aligned directly to the ecosystem's benefit. So I think you see it, how many people are posting up Twitter threads, coming up with ideas that kind of blow my mind every time I read them. And I guess having joined GT Capital, I kind of felt in a position where we could look at going, we have a collective group of people who are, to be honest, at this point, experts within Terra, within the community, and within different aspects of that. And we have been providing services to a couple of projects already, and that's what we're looking to do in the future. And kind of, whether it's funding, whether it's advisory, whether it's incubation, kind of help projects launch and continue their growth within the ecosystem. And to me, I think that needs to be an inclusive process. And that means not being a closed off group of investors, but instead finding ways that we can allow the broader community to become involved in not only providing, I would say, advice, guidance, or perhaps even their own talent. So a project could be looking for someone who's an up and coming Rust developer or a front end developer. We want to kind of build out a horizontal network of talent within Terra, which projects can connect to and talk to us, and we can help incubate them and also kind of provide services and, I guess, like a positive feedback loop between projects and community. A big part of that is obviously funding and investment. And I think all of us are here in part for the financial incentives that crypto provides. And I think that's another part of kind of what we're looking at here is, to date, the biggest beneficiaries of many project launches are teams, VCs, and very small collections of individuals within a community. And I can't really provide any details on it at the moment, but we're looking at a few different models of how we could potentially fund a treasury and get people involved across the community in that, no matter kind of the level of financial, I guess, whatever financial level they're at. So we kind of want to provide that opportunity so that, yeah, essentially the incentives and rewards of the ecosystem become better aligned across the broader community, projects looking to launch on Terra, and just the ecosystem as a whole. I guess, to my mind, there feels like there's a bit of a gap in the market right now for this kind of thing. And I know that there's obviously DAOs popping up within projects or within NFT projects as well. I think where we could potentially stand out is that, firstly, this is our laser guided focus. So we don't have to worry about running a project alongside it. We don't have to worry about building a project. The entire project itself is a community venture fund. And secondly, we have already accrued a immense amount of talent within our group that I would say spans like a number of different disciplines, and the teams we've been speaking to already are noticing immense benefit from that. I guess at this point I should probably caveat everything that I'm saying with, this is very much a work in progress, and I think there's a lot of things to fine tune in terms of balancing kind of how it's structured, how it's funded, and the level at which people can become involved. Because I think there's benefits to having some form of centralization within the advisory service, but also decentralization across the ability for community members to become involved in projects, to even receive funding from ourselves and incubate the project within our own community that we want to grow. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the long-term vision, is to create a community hub of funding, networking opportunities, career opportunities, and eventually spawning projects out from within our own community. That's a bit of a long shot, I suppose, but I think I'd rather put that on the table as kind of where we'd like to get to. And I guess the reasoning behind introducing it here and at this stage is just to kind of receive a bit of early feedback on that. So we're going to be posting some forms on our Twitter, and these are going to be really simple. It's just going to be providing some information on what you think you could bring to GT Capital and also what you'd be looking to get out of it. So what you think we could provide. And this isn't like a test, and it's not like we're going to be bringing people on board immediately from this. But I guess it's just to get a bit of a gauge of where the community's at and to see kind of some of the ideas spawning up. And yeah, to perhaps begin our networking, because I think we have a long-term vision of where we want to get to. At this point, it's about taking baby steps and perhaps growing the community out in a slow and methodical manner. So slowly onboarding people and also kind of slowly integrating some of the features we want and just testing them and then kind of scaling from there. So I hope as a broader community, you guys will stick with us, give us a chance, and equally provide feedback and engagement, because that's ultimately how we're going to build something for the community here. We can't come in and say, this is how we'll do it and this will be great. We need other people to be involved in this. I guess kind of in closing, I'd just say, yeah, if anyone kind of has any ideas on that, please do fill in the form and kind of just stay close to what we're doing. We'll be holding a bunch more of these spaces and really just look at how we can begin rolling out some of our ideas. And yeah, hopefully you'll hear more about this in the future. I think I'm probably going to stop there because I'm just kind of rambling on, really. But I hope that gave somewhat of an idea of where we're trying to head.
I just wanted to add real quick, you know, the serendipity and the magic that the kind of group that we put together, you know, we want to keep that going, right? So we want people from the community to kind of step up and tell us what are the problems that they see that maybe we don't see. Help us engage with those ideas and find a way that we can make the space better for everyone. And I'll be posting the form here shortly. I'm sure we're going to be just sharing it around. And if you want to get involved, I think this is your chance to really step up and join us from GT Capital.
Thanks, Not. That was an awesome intro. And Jimmy, sorry to steal your thunder, but the form is already out there. So if people want to go to the GT Cap Twitter, you can. The form is already live. Just in thinking of time, we're going to hold any questions on what we just presented until the end of the spaces. In the meantime, I've invited some of the Deviants guys up here to speak. I see we've got Nico and Israel already. Matthias, if you're listening from the Deviants account, can you maybe accept your speaker role and we can move on to the next section?
Yes, guys. Thanks for the invite, for inviting today. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, great.
Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for having us.
Hey, Matthias.
Hello.
Hey,
Ryan,
Matthias.
can you confirm that you guys hear me okay?
We got you, man. We got you. It's a little bit squeaky on the mic.
Hello, guys. I'm sorry, but I cannot hear any of you. Do you hear me okay?
It's a little bit, the connection's a little bit squeaky, Matthias. Is it worth kind of jumping off and joining again?
I'm sorry about this, guys, but I cannot hear any of you. But I can tell that you guys hear me. I just wanted to say hello and to thank you guys for inviting us here in this talk. I see a lot of familiar faces in in the talk, and it's a pleasure to be able to be here with you guys. I don't know. There are some other team members from Deviants also in the audience. Nico, Isra, I'd like to introduce you guys. Maybe you guys can take the lead here until I fix this technical issue.
Yeah, sure, Matthias. Thank you. Hello, guys. I'm Israel. I am the technical director of the project Deviants team. My background is I've been working in software and video games from about 18 years from now. I was one of the members of the golden era of the Flash games some years ago. I made a lot of games for that were published in Congregate, Newgrounds, if you remember. Then I moved to more complex projects, and that was the time where I met with Nicolas. We started creating more ambitious, a little bigger projects, mobile games. We made a couple of games on Steam that you probably don't know. And also we worked in card games in a online card game too that was very popular in our country. Uh, Also, I was a very um, a fanatic of cryptocurrencies from the first Bitcoin mining thing. I mined a lot of Bitcoins. I sold them for very little money. Then I got attracted to Ethereum and the new kind of projects that were coming out. Until this year, I came across Luna and became an auto lunatic. I joined the lunatic group, Spanish lunatic group. I was one of the first 10 members, I think, with Midas and other guys from there. They form a very nice community. We really liked, enjoyed to be part of that team, learn a lot, learn from mistakes, learn from success, and yeah, I don't want to start talking about the project before Nicolas presents. Nico.
Yeah, well, good night, everybody. It's good to see you here and be part of the first stage of this for sure successful project with you, GT Capitals. All you goblins are friends from us, of us. Um, yeah, as Israel said, we are Chilean guys from a small country in the bottom of the planet. You know, I'm a psychologist. I become a game designer after working paper trading card games. Become a game designer in digital games was super natural and easy for us. And here we are now after more than 15 years. Uh, we are a part of a super exciting project in Terra that we are lunatics for sure. We we enjoy a lot to work on it because we feel a part of this community, and if we can make something to make this community, this ecosystem growing up, we are super proud of be part of something like this.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Matthias has been able to join us back on the Deviants channel yet. If not, I guess we'll just continue from here until he can join. I guess probably the main thing people want to kind of understand is probably what Deviants Factions is, and kind of if you could just give a brief introduction to that, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I will take the the voice. Okay, so Deviants Factions is a NFT card game. We are planning to do a blockchain game for some months ago. We weren't even looking for other blockchains, but we never liked the philosophy compared to Terra. We really, since I was a lunatic, I always wanted to do something on Terra, and but we weren't able to do any games, any NFTs, because nobody did it before. We were game developers, not blockchain developers. So we were exploring other blockchains, other possibilities, and we didn't like them. So with Nicolas, we decided to just start working on the game without taking any blockchain into consideration, just designing the game, preparing the art material, and let's see if in the future it's possible to do it in Terra, and if not, we will try to do in a different blockchain. So when I saw the first video of NFT on Terra, I immediately called Nicolas and we went all in. We prepared the trailer video that you saw a month ago, and this project is for us surprised that a lot. We didn't expect to be this successful so fast. We weren't we wanted to go very far with this project, but we never expected to be so fast. So in terms of what the game is a trading card game when the user will have a deck of cards designed by the player with 8 cards, and you will try to defeat your opponent by playing your cards, by finding the best strategy. That's is like a very brief explanation of the game.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I guess what would be useful is could you kind of give a few more details on kind of some of the game mechanics? And I know at this stage we're still kind of a little bit early about what you can and can't talk about. But if there's anything you could kind of provide on in terms of gameplay and kind of user experience, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a play to earn game. The idea behind this is that instead of just staking rewards in a protocol, you will have to play to get them and play well. So you can get even more rewards or way more than a user that doesn't play well. But we still want other players that don't have any good deck or doesn't know how to play well to get some rewards. So the mechanics or the flow of the game will be that you create your deck and you start looking for opponents. Your opponents can be even offline. You will play against their deck, so you don't need to have the other player be connected to play their cards, and you don't have to be connected to play your cards. But if you are connected, you have your mind with you. You can decide what to do. If you are not connected, a computer will decide for you, and probably you are smarter than that AI, because you can take those decisions based on what's happening in the battlefield. What else can I say? We have plans for competitive game. We will have tournaments in the future. We will have guilds. You can see the roadmap we have in the video of the whitelist. Yeah, we have published a first roadmap of the game where you can see we will have guilds, card renting, tournaments, competitive play, events, um, um, governance. We wanted to have a very special type of governance that players will vote for future cards. We will present different versions of the same card, and you will have to vote for what card, which of them you want in the game. Okay, so the deck construction is 8 cards per deck. If you have 8 cards, you're ready to play. There will be 3 types of cards. One of them, you will not have that card in your deck. That is the headquarter. The headquarter will have structure points, and you play to defend your headquarter, and you play with characters. The characters will be your soldiers, warriors, scientists that you put on your team, and they will try to join to destroy the opponent's headquarters. And the third type of cards is called technologies. The technologies will buff your team to give them new abilities, and you have to play very well the position of your cards. You have to decide where you put your cards and in what moment of the game you will deploy them to find the best strategy to outsmart your opponent.
Yeah, that's really great, Israel. I think that's kind of speaking to you guys previously. Kind of the main things that stood out for me is obviously kind of your team's experience in kind of building out game design and game mechanics that will hopefully provide some sort of sustainability and longevity to not only wanting to play but also the ability to earn money from this, which I think is really fantastic. And I think as well, all the things you've mentioned on your roadmap in terms of building out guilds and just things that kind of lower those barriers to entry to allow anyone to get involved and to not only enjoy themselves but also earn income from it. I think it's, from my perspective, looking across Terra and other ecosystems, kind of you guys stood out to me massively from the start in terms of really just liking the way that you guys are trying to build and kind of the vision you have for how you want to move forward. I guess at this point, I'll also say I've just noticed that Deviant faction account has joined us again. Matthias.
Hey, Anton. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay now?
That's amazing. That's so much better
Yeah,
than before.
yeah. We hear you now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about this, guys. You know, this is one of the things that you wish it never happens, but then it does.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm back here, and I'm really glad you got to talk to Israel and Nicolas. They're like you were saying, they're part of the team, co-founding team. They're veteran game developers and game designers, and they're part of the core of our operations. Like you were just describing, we designed the game to be a bit different to what you can see out there, like trading card games, not necessarily crypto. We built a short deck that allows players to play a game with very simple rules and very low entry barriers, but that also allows for a very complex strategy. So players can play a game and have fun and also make lots of earnings. And I hope we get to talk about all of this. And just sorry guys, it took me so long to jump in.
No problem at all. We've kind of just covered off a little bit of the background in terms of, as you mentioned there, what Deviants is. And I guess from here, something we've not touched on, I guess a question people might have is, will there be a token associated with the game? And if so, how does that kind of accrue value?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we are a play to earn game, and based on NFTs, right? Every single card is an NFT, and we will have a native token that's whose utilities are deep within the DNA of the game. So with the token, you will be able to do like some of the things that Irel was explaining, like you'll be able to stake the token and increase the tier of rewards, battle rewards when you play the game. You'll be able to participate in rewarded governance decisions. You'll be able to craft cards, level cards. You'll be able to enter tournaments. You will be able to, get exclusive access to vanity items or special items within the game. So there are like different ways that we have designed within the roots of the game. For I cannot share all of the information, so I hope you guys understand. But we have a very like solid strategy to be able to, in order to be able to create the buying pressure of the token instead of the selling pressure. What we see that sometimes happens is that actually for players to earn the money, they need to leave the game, they need to sell their assets, and we have created a different strategy that will allow players to earn money by keeping their assets. And we'll be happy to share a little bit more on that. in a few weeks, we have a solid strategy that we want to share at the right moment. But yeah, we have put a lot of thought on that. We have been getting advice also from so many of you guys, from GT Capital and other key leaders or opinion leaders of the Terra ecosystem, and we'll be sharing all of that soon enough.
Yeah, no, I think that's really great, and I think that's a really important point you touch on with regards to kind of keeping people involved in the game and creating a sustainable economy within the game itself. Because I think ultimately the exciting stuff around play to earn is the ability to kind of unlock social mobility and allow people from around the world to, I guess, like really you could say it's almost a proof of work kind of thing. Like people put the work in and they earn money from that, and you can kind of trade those assets, whatever it may be. I think play to earn personally is probably the most exciting component of crypto at the moment for me. I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. And I think it's been really, really great getting to understand your guys' vision. And like many other people, I think the crypto space is really impatient. So we're definitely waiting on bated breath to kind of hear a little bit more of what you guys have in store. And yeah, perhaps in a few weeks we can kind of have you back on to discuss that as well. I guess in the interest of impatience and the eternal when question, I guess I would be remiss of me not to ask, when are we expecting some form of NFT pre-sale or kind of introductory offering or anything of that regard?
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you for asking that question. Actually, we shared a video on our Twitter account, Deviant NFT. I invite you all guys to follow us and stay tuned with more news to come as well. But we said that on the second week of November we will be doing our NFT booster pack pre-sale, and I can give you guys a pretty good alpha. We are planning to actually have that sale on November 9th. So I ask you all guys to stay tuned and give us the good vibes and keep up the hype, because we're over the next few weeks. Over the course of the next few weeks, we'll be sharing so much information, and I hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I know personally I will be, and I hope that many of the people listening here will also be engaging with you guys and trying to get into the community. I think from GT's perspective, like we would love to also long term be looking at like building a guild with you guys as well. I know that's something some of us have discussed. Like I think there's amazing opportunities to really involve the community in your guys' project as well, which is exactly why we want to work kind of with you guys and talk to you guys. So yeah, really exciting stuff. I guess at this point, I'd like to just kind of welcome any questions from people listening. I think initially we probably want to have the few questions focused on Deviant, and then once that's kind of concluded, we can kind of branch out. And if people want to have a broader AMA with GT itself or touch on anything we mentioned earlier on, be happy to kind of host that.
Yeah, man, sure, for sure. We would love to have you guys to play as a guild and to be able to grow and make earnings, with us. I just if you allow me, I'd like to put a little bit more context on what the booster pack is. Like I said before, we're trying to design this game to have very low entry barriers, and the booster pack is the perfect example for that. The booster pack will be the sale will actually contain 8 NFTs. So what we are selling now is a deck that will allow buyers and players to be ready to play as soon as the game launch. So within the booster pack, there will be 8 random NFTs that will allow players to start playing as soon as they can open it.
Yeah, and if you let me add something, I'm sorry to interrupt. This booster pack is a starter pack. It's a deck ready to play. It's all you need to start playing Deviant's game when it's released, and it will remain sealed until the booster opening event. We are preparing a very nice opening event that will occur in the first quarter of next year. So the booster packs will be a surprise for everyone when you have these packs and probably other surprises we have. Everybody will get their contents in that event.
Yeah, that's absolutely great, guys. Yeah, thank you, Israel. Thank you, Matthias, and you, Nico, as well. I think Nick from our team has his hand up and has done for the last 5 minutes. So I'm not sure if he's got a question, but I'll go to him.
Thanks, terranaut. Hey, Deviants, thanks for joining us. Just a question from my end. I would really love to know about your team, like how many members they are and who they are, if you don't mind telling us.
Yeah, for sure, Nick. Thanks for asking. It's always a pleasure to speak with you again, man. So currently we are 17 full-time members of Deviant's team. Like I introduced my coworkers and my teammates before, Nico and Isra are co-founders of Deviant's team. They are veteran game developers with over 15 years of experience, and everybody else from the team has actually worked previously with us in different projects. So as soon as we decided to start this project, Deviant Faction, the trading card game, play to earn on Terra blockchain, we onboarded all of our super rock stars, and they all left whatever they were doing and joined the team. So we're all fully focused on delivering the greatest game for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Matthias. I think, have we got, is it Mexico.ust has come up on to speak? I'm not sure if you had a question.
Thank you, Matthias, by the way.
I apologize. I didn't mean to hit the speak button.
Okay, no problem at all. I think, yeah, if anyone's got any questions they'd like to ask the team, please feel free to raise your hand or make yourself known to Ryan, our lovely co-host, and we can get you up on stage. I think, is Guy in the chat, Guy Polio, because I know he messaged me about asking a question, but I can't see it. Oh.
Got a couple of people coming
Okay,
in.
no worries. I think he's going to DM you anyway, Ryan. I've told him to, so we'll see if he comes through. Great. I think we just have, is it Ahaim Fule? I don't know how to say that, I'm afraid. Connecting at the moment. Hey, is it Daniel or Aham Fule? I'm not sure what to call you, but can you hear us?
Hey, thanks a lot for the introduction. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to ask how if you could maybe share a bit more like how the gameplay is like. Is it is it a little bit like Axie or something like that?
It's not really. Deviant's Faction is gonna be a trading card game. And a short deck one. In this way, with your first 8 cards, 8 NFT cards, you're gonna make your deck, and with your deck, make it by characters and technologies. You're gonna defend your headquarters against the attacks of your opponent team, and you're gonna attack the headquarters of your opponent, And the idea is use your skills, your strategy to play with with all your cards as a team. In this way, you can make more damage to the characters of your opponent, even the opponent headquarter, and in this way you can win. Every single time that you participate in a match, you're gonna get rewards in our token. The idea is if you win the match, you're gonna get more rewards, and if you lose the match, you're gonna get less, but you're gonna get rewards too.
Cool. Thanks a lot for illuminating.
Thank you.
I'm just going to squeeze in a question here. So, I used to play some games, namely being Warframe and Cyberpunk, and I noticed the art that Deviants use are very similar in a sense. I think not many questions have been focused on this aspect. I'd just like to know, was there any form of inspiration for the art for Deviants by the artist, or any certain experience that you guys wanted to center the vibe around? Just going back into the backstory and the lore.
Yes, well, we are old guys, we have a lot of different movies, books, and comics books as a reference. I think that every single people here, but we choose to make a lore based on a real world in the present, an immersive lore. In this way, we're gonna play as deviants in the real world or in the present. We're gonna choose, or every single player is gonna choose in between four factions, and those factions are in a sacred battle for the future of the world lord, and in this way, every single time that you play a match, you are battle for your faction, and your factions growing up in this race for the future of the humanity. Probably, as you said, we are thinking, or we are making some universe as a cyberpunk universe, but not in the future, not in a how can I say it? It's not a conspiracy from the future. We are working in a real world scenario in the present, and every single news that you receive every day, it's gonna be a part of the lore of this immersive universe, and that's the most interesting thing that you can get if you will be a part of our community. I want to thanks to every single people who join us in our community, because we have the focus on the community. The play to earn aspect is because we want to have a community, not only to play, not only to make money outside of the or as a person. We want to have a big community, and a committed community, and that's what we can saw until now that we are generated. Thank you all, guys.
Thanks. I think that's nice. I think a lot of people can look forward to it, especially if they like games, or even for people who just want to branch in. I think Mike has a question, so I'll move it over to him. Thank you for sharing, by the way.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, GT, for hosting this. It's always good to hear from the projects. Nico, we spoke yesterday, and so I kind of just want to have you shed some light on some of the partnerships with other protocols in the space, and kind of how they might be a part of the storytelling in the game itself.
Uh, yeah, well, we want to be a part of Terra ecosystem, you know. And as Matthias said, we want to engage with other protocols in Terra ecosystem. We're gonna start uh, with the marketplaces in our launch, and with the marketplaces in our first NFT pre-sale. Um, in this way, we are engaged. We are have a relationship with other protocols. As well, we are engaged with GT Capital too, and a lot of them participants. You know, that's the way we look our future. That's the reason why we choose Terra as a blockchain where we want to be a part, because Terra ecosystem is a family, and the lunatics are brothers, and we want to be a part of this family.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to playing the game.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys. I think, should we, is it Stin? I think we up next if you had a question.
Hey, I just wanted to start off and say thank you for hosting the space. I was wondering what kind of goals the team has in mind, whether or not they're trying to compete head to head with some of the biggest card games like Hearthstone, and if so, how?
I think Matthias
Okay.
or
I
Israel.
can take this.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah, we are very ambitious. I'll tell you now, we are very ambitious. We don't want to reveal too much yet. We want to keep some surprises for the future, but the answer is yes. we want to compete with the biggest games in the world.
Yeah, probably I can give you some alpha about that. Don't be shy, Israel. Yes, we as my partner said, we are super ambitious. We want to be the most biggest esport in this history. You know, that's our goal. And you are talking about our goal. That is our main goal. And I hope you join us. You are early now. That's a good place to be to you, and a good place to be with us. Um, and the idea is become the more rewarded esport in the history.
Awesome, that's great to hear. And I have a follow-up question. Will you guys be offering like free starter packs or something similar to Hearthstone where people don't actually need to buy into the game to play?
Well, somebody asking before about or comparing us with Axie Infinity. Probably the similarity with Axie Infinity that we're gonna have, or the main one, it's gonna be the scholarship. You know, every single protocol and games protocol are not different from them. They have whales, and the whales have too many, in this case, NFTs, and they can't use all of them at the same moment, you know. But if they can, in our game, they could be put this pool of NFT in in order to use to another players. And probably their other players have no too much money to start to playing, or they have no enough cards to get the best strategy, and they can go to a in-game market, and you will have the possibility to rent cards or rent even included entire deck to play.
Okay, I just know from personal experience. I played a little bit of Axie Infinity, and I really liked the game. I tried to get a lot of my friends who do game into it, but not all of them had the means to really spend a significant amount of money to buy into the game. How will you guys be, I guess, managing the cost of entry?
Well, you will see now that we will release the first set of cards, but the plan is to be releasing regularly new cards. So there will be new opportunities to get those cards. And also the players will be able to sell them on secondary markets. And there will always be common cards, common, uncommon, rare, and legendary will be the four rarities. And you can always buy from them. Probably there will be a big amount of common cards. We will try to not to make the more rare cards overpowered. We want a very balanced game. Probably they will be better, for sure. But we don't want any overpowered card. We want the strategy to be on the player, not in the money. And if you want to spend more, to be for more related to collection value, then pay to win. Uh, and well, that's it. And we will make sure that there is enough cards for everyone to play.
Yeah, great.
Um,
Thank you so much, Israel. I guess I think we can add on as well. I guess there'll be something that comes in from GT's perspective as well. Is I think the guild and scholarship model will be really important to this and kind of the community side of things. So, for example, the ability for guilds to rent out cards to users so that the cost of entry is either zero or minimal, and you kind of you pay a fee on your earnings for that. So I think Stin has stepped down as speaker now, but I hope perhaps the guilds and kind of scholarships that can be built between the community and Deviants themselves can really bridge some of those gaps and look to onboard some of the kind of users who, as you say, maybe don't have the financial means to invest in the game to begin with, but still want opportunity to play and to earn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are
exactly
right.
like that.
But one of the most important way that you're gonna be sure that you can get your first card or even the last one as the same price, that we're gonna sell boosters, not cards. And the booster is gonna be sold in USD. USD, is the most important thing that I saw until now in cryptocurrency. And very, very, very stable coin. In this way, we don't gonna growing up our prices every single time that you come to buy one of our booster pack or starter pack NFTs. You're gonna buy it at the same price in USD. In this way, you're gonna have new cards, new NFT cards, and the price of the cards gonna grow up if the card is useful in a strategy. In this way, if you got a good card and if you have a good strategy to build your deck and play that deck in a tournament, in organized play, you're gonna earn a lot of money.
Great, thank you, Nico. I guess in the interest of time, I appreciate. Thank you guys for waiting on the questions. I think is it Netfragger? I think we have up next.
Yeah, hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're all good.
That's great. Well, Stin's definitely asking the right questions. I had a lot of them in my mind as well, especially for, long-term viability of the project. The one question he didn't ask that's very interesting, long-term to me is I heard you guys say that you had worked on some Steam games before. Do you plan on Steam integration? Because I think that's a real game winner, pulling in the entire gamer ecosphere. Really, if you guys can get that, I mean, you can definitely compete with a lot of the bigger ones out there.
Yeah, I have some bad news about that because Steam just announced that they will ban any game using NFTs or blockchain. So until they change that, we cannot just even publish a game in there. Our game will be browser based. Anyone can play without installing anything, and it will work in mobile phones too from the directly from the browser. You don't need to go to Play Store or Google Play because they don't like NFTs games so far. But we will try to go there. We will try to reach Steam, other platforms, but it's not in the first focus of the team. We are focusing on browser.
Yeah, and at the first stage, as Israel said, we have the focus on Terra, on Lunatics, but after that, of course, we gonna open the gates of Terra to receive with open arms with you guys to the mainstream to play with us, probably using another way that we're gonna develop in the future.
Yeah, that's great, guys. I think as well, could I just add on to that? I guess there's, first of all, we all hope that Steam will roll back on this decision, as we often see with a lot of these companies that are kind of non-crypto related. But if not, I guess kind of from my side, there's potentially other options to explore, I guess, such as kind of UOS, which is kind of the crypto native provider, and then I think, is it Epic? Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but I think Epic have kind of recently stepped up and announced that they would be trying to be more crypto friendly, I guess. So I think, as you guys said, perhaps not your focus right now, but I think hopefully there'll be some options out there in the future, even if Steam does kind of hold this firm stance on kind of crypto related projects.
Yeah, don't worry, Ned. Here in Terra, we will be bigger than Steam. Count on it.
Yo.
Yeah, great stuff. I think is it John Tienda who's been waiting for a little while as well. So if we just bring you in next, and I'll just say very quickly, thank you to everyone waiting patiently to ask questions here. Really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, and thanks for taking my question. Just on the point of introducing new communities to the gaming space, we've started to see in other chains like Harmony, for instance, the integration of NFTs into sort of utilities that are at the heart of the chain, such as DEXs, with the introduction of DeFi kingdoms, for instance. I was wondering if the team is looking to partner with other protocols on Terra to integrate the NFTs into how their tools work, kind of like Lavana is looking to do, in order to sort of tap into people who might not be super into games per se, but are into the broader ecosystem. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We are looking to integrate with other projects, other protocols, integrate other protocols and other projects into our game. I can't say which one with protocols we have been talking with, but definitely it's something that we are looking forward to do.
Great, thanks, and great work on the project so far.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I think just looking through the list, I think perhaps Alan is up next. I think you've probably been waiting a little while. Sorry about that.
Don't worry. Can you hear me? Okay, so my question is, I love the game, I love the concept, but do you guys have someone with expertise on economics on the team? Because I see a lot of projects that are new, that are very exciting, but the every new protocol, every new project is a new ecosystem in itself, so it may fail in the economics part, and that makes the project fail. So is there someone who is looking after that?
Hello, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had technical issues again. Yeah, I got your question, and thank you for asking. The answer is yes. We have a few people with a like technical background in terms of economics, and we're also engaging with very experienced advisors. This is like a one of a kind project, and we're making sure we're getting different points of view on how to design, develop, and engage with the overall long term strategy of the project. We want to make a good game, but we also want to make a profitable game for all of our players and investors. So we're getting the right advice, and we're engaging with the right people. I wish I could say a little bit more about this, but yeah, we're trying to onboard as many experienced people and companies as we can get in order to build the best game for you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Great stuff, thanks. And it's wonderful to have you back on, Mateus. I think we'll move on to Anastas next, if you're there.
Yeah, can you hear me well?
Yep, you're all good.
Yep.
Yeah, so you were talking a bit about balance. So I want to ask you, how do you plan, like, since the cards are NFTs and they can be sold, so there's like money involved with each card. It's a bit tricky to do balancing, because if you like make up too powerful card cheaper, then people who spend money on it are not happy. Or if a card is very popular and there's limited supply of it, it can be very expensive, and it would be better for the game to print more of it so that the game is healthier. But then you end up with, again, people who bought it at more expensive price not happy. So how do you plan to deal with these things that come up when money is involved?
Well, thank you for asking about that, Ernestas. The reason why we will take our time to release the game itself and every single card as a first pool of cards is because we are taking care about the strategic balance, and that's our main goal when we are designing. We have a big group, a big team focus on design the cards, but not as one card separate of a pool. We are working to design a game, an entire game. That's our main goal, and as Israel said before, we don't want to sell cards because in the way that they are super OP cards, and this way the price is gonna be higher than the others, and every single players want to have this card, or and the only ones that they have it, they gonna win every single match. We name it Dream Team cards, Dream Team decks. You don't gonna see this in our game. Deviants factions gonna be a balanced game, focus on competitive players. If you don't want to be a competitive players, you can be just play for fun. That's okay. But if you want to compete in organized game in different kinds of tournaments, starting in the lowest level of prices as free rolls, and going higher, and growing up in different levels, different stakes, but based on your skills, and your strategy skills, not in how money you spend in your cards.
Yeah, and just to complement a little bit what Nico was saying, and like the game is a living thing, right? And it will grow in time in terms of the card universe and the player base, and balancing will be a constant process. But we have an experienced team with a very experienced long term vision. So this is one of the things that we're actually really focused about now, to make a good game, a well balanced game, and to continue on the developing process, and be releasing different cars within the next steps, like in the roadmap, once games have launched. And this is a really important part of where our focus will be. Yep.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys. Thanks for really detailed answers. I think we bring on Trix for the next question, I think.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I was wondering if you could have multiple decks played for by the computer, or would it just be one deck per user?
No, you can have more than one. Every single time that you collect 8 cards, you can have a new deck. But obviously, at the beginning, you can use only one per time. But you can put the other ones in rental, or you can put the other ones to play offline, even if you are sleeping. And our artificial intelligence gonna play with your deck, or with your decks, and you're gonna have the rewards when you come online again, and you're gonna know how many or how much rewards you get during your sleeping or offline.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. I think if we appreciate kind of just throwing questions repeatedly at the team here, so really appreciate you guys taking the time to answer all of these. You're doing a really good job, and I was just about to invite Tema up to speak, but I think we've lost them. So I think we'll go on to Guy Polio next, if you're there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, all good.
Thank you very much, GT, for hosting the space, and thank you for Deviants to coming along. Cheers for taking my question. I'm a big fan of the lore, like right from the start of your project with the factions and the world building, and I think it's really interesting to see an NFT project take such a strong narrative approach. I was wondering if there's anything that you can share that you're going to do in the future to sort of build on the lore and expand the narrative of the project.
The game will be a living lore game. If you check our Medium page, you will see some explanation of the world. We have a team of writers working on the universe, and you will see growing experience. You will see some things related to real world news happening into this game. You will see some crypto events happening inside of the game. We want the player to relate with the game universe in the most immersive way we can do. Something that you will see is cards getting designed based off past events inside of the game. So characters that you will see in the first edition will come later with changes, and in them probably they will go to a different faction, you know. And we want the players to be really immersed in this and also vote in this kind of decisions of the game.
Oh wow, it definitely sounds super interactive. Thank you very much for your answer.
Great. Cheers, guys. I think just perhaps in the interest of time here, I think we've got no one else kind of lined up here. So I think in terms of questions, we will probably wrap it up there. I just wanted to, first of all, thank the Deviants team hugely for coming on and giving us your time. I can speak personally from the conversations we've had before that it's always an absolute pleasure to talk to you guys and to hear your ideas, hear your passion, and just kind of really better understand what you're trying to build. So thank you for that. I think I would ask very quickly if there's any closing thoughts you guys want to give. Perhaps Mateus, seeing as you kind of were in and out of the call all night, you may feel like you got one or two words you may like to wrap up with.
Yeah, no, and I just want to apologize again for all the inconvenience, and I'm actually really glad you got to talk to all of us and to hear our different, visions and views about the game, what we actually bringing for the diverse and experienced team we are, and we want to make a good game. We want to deliver to you guys as a community. Try to make this a fun and a profitable game to spend your time at. I want to thank you guys for inviting us here for this conversation, and for all the community for all the support that each one of you has been giving us so far. We'll be releasing lots of information over the course of the next few weeks, and yeah, you already know, November 9 pre-sale of the starter pack. So you're all invited to join and to play the game and make money. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you so much again, guys. And I think I'll just announce to the people here, we will be giving away a couple of whitelist spots to the people who asked questions tonight. Just to be clear, if you're a member of GT Capital and you asked a question, you won't be eligible for this. But yeah, anyone else who asked a question, will be reaching out to one or two of you, and yeah, hopefully be a nice surprise. So yeah, thanks guys again. If anyone from Deviant wants to stick around on the call, you're more than welcome to. But I think we've ran on quite a lot here. If people want to stick around and have a chat about anything related to GT Capital or what we mentioned earlier, I'm personally happy to do so, but I know a lot of people may have to either get on with the rest of their lives or get some sleep or whatever. So yeah, I guess if anyone's got any immediate questions, kind of raise your hand and we can jump into that now.
Hey, Terranaut, real quick, for folks that are exiting, what should they expect from us in terms of these spaces moving forward? And maybe you want to give them a sneak peek on what we have in store as well.
In terms, sorry, Ryan, after you, mate.
Yeah, I can take that one, Jimmy. Well, just a brief note. So we've got Prism Protocol lined up for possibly our next space, probably around the same time next week, if we can line it up with Mr. Refractor. I know a lot of people, there's been all kinds of theorizing going on all over Twitter and all over Telegram in terms of how Prism will work, what strategies will be available once it goes live, and then further down the roadmap. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and get your